Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group at Coldwell Banker Burnett. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there, welcome to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk coming to you from the Hittner Group at Coldwell Banker Realty, 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. We'd be happy to have a chat with you about your real estate plans and adventures that you're about to embark on. Or go to hittnergroup.com, Hittner Group.com. Check it out, the best real estate website on the planet south of the Canadian border.
What's up?
What's up with you?
How's it going?
It's nice spring kickoff. Boy, there's all kinds of news about that I'm reading on. I like Inman News, so I read Inman News every day. Inman News is a real estate news portal that has all kinds of articles. Lots of conversation about subscription paid. Lots of articles in there about Loan Depot.
Always.
Yeah.
Oh, that they're doing so well.
They're doing so well.
Doing great.
Lots of dirt on that. And we got James in here from the Preserve Group. We're going to be talking to him. I have a specific question that I need to ask you next segment about some insurance problems that we've been having. And Calvin's got a new business venture. He's doing News with Nudes. I'm excited to hear more about that in the
Never heard of it.
money segment of the program.
Good. Anything else to kick us off?
What else is kicking us off? Activity. Good activity. All the listings that we have seem to be getting good showing activity. Seem to have even Fritz through another one has another listing coming on $425,000 I think. Or
Minneapolis deal or what?
North, like Brooklyn, the north area here. I could pull it up and tell you in a second. He's put it on with hold. Well, he just shut it over last night. And ooh, that looks like a nice house coming on, nice 2-story. But we've had good showing activity, good listing activity, houses coming on the market, not at a flood rate, but just at a normal kind of a clip, 1 or 2 a week.
Yeah.
It just seems to be good.
I got a nice 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 2-car garage in South Minneapolis. Just sold one a couple weeks ago. It actually closes today, and that one's going to be right around $475,000. And this one, 3,000-ish square feet, totally remodeled. We helped them buy it in 2016, I think. At the time, it was a duplex.
Okay.
It's been converted to a single-family home. So
was it converted once from a single family to a duplex?
No, it was originally a duplex.
Built as a duplex.
Yep, originally a duplex. They abandoned a stairwell, created another one. So they got stairwell on the front and back of the home. There was one in the center that went downstairs.
Oh, wow.
So all new mechanicals, new insulation in the property too, which is great. The windows are all brand new, put all new glass in the windows. They're vinyl windows as well, so maintenance free. And I know insurance guy's in the room. He likes to see new roofs on properties, right? So new roof on the property as well. The siding's all been replaced. It was like a fiberboard siding or something. They came in with new vinyl siding. Nice patios outside, privacy fence, brand new garage built from the ground up. The place is great. It's a really nice place. It's 5 beds, 4 baths, 2-car garage. Just about 3,000 square feet. Yep, 2-car, which is great. South Minneapolis,
South Minneapolis.
Yep, you're looking at 1 cars or no garages. In some of these places, it's a 1898 build, but plays like a 2016 built property. So
under 500,000.
Under 500K in South Minnie. So
we got one that we just brought on the market this week over in Invergrove Heights, a Robert Thomas built 2-story, beautiful property, $700,000.
It's an awesome place. I showed it. It's fantastic.
It's really good. I had to send a photographer back out because I got the pictures back and I wasn't happy with them. A couple of them. You know how sometimes they get too tight. I get.
But you don't have the fake
nutty-
camera that makes the refrigerator look like it's.
No. But
you can get both, right? I mean,
Yeah.
spend some time in there, get some tight shots, and then also get some,
a mix. But sometimes
you want to see the connected living spaces.
I want to see
that
the
house there in
connected
Ember
living
Grove.
spaces.
What's the street it's on? Like 76th or
70,
something?
70. Yeah, it is. It's
76th.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the new construction right up the street from that now with that same gal.
Okay.
So we looked at that property, and I mean, frankly, I think that it's a bargain at $700K.
I did too.
Really nice house, beautiful floors, giant kitchen, that prep pantry area.
So nice.
So through the kitchen, you have this giant center island.
Really?
And you walked through the kitchen, and there's like this prep pantry area if you wanted to do some prepping for baking and things like that. And then there's a giant walk-in pantry. So the main level is super cool. And
Smashing.
And then upstairs is 4 bedrooms,
4 beds up.
little landing area where
Yep.
a guy could put a little homework desk for kids or something like that. Master is beautiful, and the basement is like eat off the floor clean. It's unfinished, but the floors are painted. It's all framed.
Basement's unfinished.
The basement's
And it's
unfinished.
700. Wow.
Yeah, but it's all framed up.
But it's 3,000 some odd square feet above grade, so
Yeah.
it's a big home.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
big home. It finishes out probably at 4,500. You
Yeah.
could probably squeeze in there. You're going to have some unfinished mechanical space and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So you'll be, 4,600 max on it. But you'll end up with 5 beds, 4 bathrooms, and a heck of a rec space. You could get a wet bar in the basement. It's a beautiful home in the backyard. Where you're at on 76, you're super high right there. So it's one of the high points in Inver Grove Heights. You kind of go up, and it's almost like you're up north because they have all these old, what are they, Scotch pines or
Yeah.
something, that you're traveling through this
To get
roundabout area. It's very quiet, and you're up on this hill. So aside from the flight traffic. But, planes, trains, and automobiles, man. It's a convenient spot, near Target, all that stuff right off of, Dodd.
What's interesting
Are
about
the
that?
lots decent size there? Or
This-
are
this
they
nice.
Well,
jammed
it's
in?
a nice sized lot, and it backs up to a play area, and then there's a walking trail, and the walking trails go now to Inver Grove is just they put out a thing, what to name the park, but it's a private park just for this neighborhood, and the only way to get to it is from the neighborhood walking trail. So there's no streets coming into it, so you're not going to have anyone from outside the neighborhood visiting that park. It's just really
What's the address, Keith?
situation. I have to look it up to know exactly what the house
Okay.
number is. Let me check it.
And then what are you seeing on new construction? What's going on in
Yeah,
that
so
world?
the development that's over there that we're looking at, and there's a lot of new construction available. So if you're looking to build a new property and you have some time, but they're speeding up, let's say, in new construction. So these guys can get a house done in 6 months now. They're just not as backlogged as they were. So 8, 12 months, not really a thing anymore. And that's 6 months from the time that you figure everything out with the house. So the construction time is still about 6 months. It could take you a couple months to figure everything out in terms of your selections, getting permits, all that stuff. So total process from the time you walk in a model, it could be 8 months. But yeah, hit us up for some new construction stuff, 612-627-8000. It's always fun to work through new construction. And what else is great about new construction is that there are models sitting for sale. There are spec homes sitting for sale. So that's where you're going to get your breaks. The model down the street from this house here at what address?
It's 1256 76th Street in Inver Grove Heights.
1256 76th Street in Inver Grove Heights. Beautiful house. Check it out online. Call Senior 612-720-2549. I went through it with a client. She should have bought this one, but she's got different ideas on having a finished basement right away. So we're looking at new construction as an option, and that's going to be probably $850 for a similar.
Seriously?
Yep,
Oh,
for a
wow.
similar property not far away from this one. I mean, it's literally you drive past the new construction to get to this one.
Right.
But their model there in the development, they just dropped from $800 to $750. And
There's
that's
a couple
fully
now.
finished.
Lennar is building up in there, and
This is Distinctive
is
Homes.
it Distinctive?
Yeah,
So
Distinctive Homes guy.
And I talked with Wade, who owns Distinctive Homes, this week, and I said, what's selling? Because he's building specs. And he said, we're a little bit nervous about building the specs because of the carrying costs and all that, but they're selling before they're done. And he said, especially the Ramblers. He said, they have a Rambler floor
market.
plan that's smashing, that has a rear-loaded staircase going downstairs. So you've got that when you come in, and then the big windows in the back there, the staircase is out of the way, the house opens up. He said they can't build those fast
Yeah,
enough.
huge market for downsizers right now. We've known that for the last 10 years. There's an aging population in Minnesota. There's a significant, low inventory for any type of even economical options. I mean, economical option would be $500,000.
Yeah.
So most of the things that you're seeing, we went from saying downsizing because you're not really downsizing
No,
anymore.
you're not anymore.
You're just right-sizing your life, changing your lifestyle.
Change the configuration.
Change the configuration of your lifestyle. So for builders to be building spec Ramblers in a price point of, mid-5s to 7s, I think they'll easily sell those out before they're done building those properties. So good on Wade and Distinctive Homes. And that's who we're working for on this new construction job in Inver Grove Heights. So a lot of options for you out there in new construction with different builders. Give us a call at 612-627-8000. That number again is 612-627-8000. Or as always, log online to hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com. And we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk coming to you from the Hittner Group at Caldwell Banker Realty. 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Give us a ring-a-ling-a-ling. We'd be happy to have a chat with you. Or go to hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com. Check it out. Log in, do your searches, and then there's a little query thing there that you can fill out a little contact me form, and we'll be happy to connect with you. All right, James. Why don't you give us your contact information before I forget about it?
Absolutely. James with the Preserve Group. We can be found at www.mypreservegroup.com, or you can reach us at 651-728-4334.
And the Preserve Group is an independent insurance agent, so you represent multiple lines of insurance with different companies. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so the advantage there is that you get to shop the market and find the best deal that makes the most sense for that particular property.
Yes.
Here's something that came up this recently, and I've been kind of going back and forth with it. And we closed on a townhouse, and buyers are new homeowners are in. Everything is good. And then they get a letter from the association that says that they're going to be replacing the roofs because of some storm damage that happened, and that their portion of the deductible was $6,500. And so my first question to them was, did your insurance agent have the gap in, insurance coverage in the insurance policy with your HO6 policy? Well, they didn't know. I know that I sent them the insurance agent's name and contact information, with the associate, so that they could talk to one another and make sure that was connected. And they were going to check on that. But then what has been discovered is that the claim was made prior to closing, and it was not disclosed on the transfer disclosure statement that there was a claim filed. If there were, then we would have been alerted, and we could have made sure that there is someone had filed a claim with the previous owner's HO6, and however that works. Well, as it turns out, there was no
Coverage.
notice given. And so we called it was Gasson, that was the management company.
Association, yeah.
Called the association, say, hey, I'm looking at the disclosure here. No mention of any insurance claim here. That was something that the board was doing on the side. They didn't know about it, and so they're making these things and never notified the homeowners. All right. So long story short, previous owner's long gone. What do you do in that situation?
Sure. Good question. Let's start first with the first question you mentioned. Do you have coverage for the gap? They call that the loss assessment. So that's the master policy deductible for the association.
Okay.
So I hope that is in place. Otherwise, they're on the hook for that $6,500.
Describe what that is now with individual's insurance company, which doesn't have to be the same insurance company as the master association does.
It's commonly
is
not.
That true?
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Commonly not.
Okay.
On your homeowners, a single-family home, you're going to have a deductible, whether it's $2,000 for wind, hail, fire. On a townhome condo situation, you have a deductible of $500 to $1,000, and then you have what's called the loss assessment, which is built into your policy to pay the master policy. So the master commercial policy covers.
A lot of times they'll have a $100,000 deductible or something
right,
like that.
$25,000. A lot of time they'll do a wind and hail deductible of 5% because in this market we have a lot of wind and hail, and so that's extremely important that is those.
So
documents.
is that coverage like a standard? Is it
No,
just always
you
built
have
in?
to have that conversation. Your insurance professional has to ask for those documents to make sure it's done correctly. Because if it's not, then they're up a creek.
And I'm assuming that's a punch list item for you then when you're speaking with somebody that has a townhouse. You want to get the master policy for the association, see what's there, and then kind of coincide with the insurance coverage that you have on the individual unit for that individual customer of yours.
Right, master policy, and then the association bylaws. The association bylaws tell what that policy covers. In my experience, back to what you were saying about who's on the hook, it's a bad situation, but the new buyer is on the hook. They're not going to go back and pay that claim. Now, that's handled differently in a single family home. If you had a hail claim, if you bought a property in 2022 and the hail claim was 2021, unfortunately, the new buyer is not going to have hail coverage for the 2021 on a single family situation.
Right.
But a townhome situation, the new buyer, unfortunately, that's just the way those work, is that they're on the hook because at the time of the loss, not the time of the loss, the time of the assessment, they were the owner. Does that make sense?
At the time of the assessment, not the time of the
Correct,
loss.
correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, because that's what the question was: is could we go back to the previous owner and have them file a claim on their HO6 or whatever it is? No chance of that. Okay. Well, that's good information because we. So now they have to go back to the association because the association was doing some stuff over here and clearly not notifying because they went around, of course, to everyone in their building, everyone in the building now across the street. Nobody knew. Everyone was like blindsided by this deal. And some of them had the loss assessment coverage, is that what you say? And some did not.
That's
Is
a bad
that expensive,
situation.
or why wouldn't it just be part of the policy?
It is part of the policy, but it can be written from as low as $5,000 to as high as $50,000.
Okay.
So that's where we've got to look at those documents, so that way we don't write it for $5 when it's $50,
Okay.
because the individual owner is responsible for that. So it is built in. It's just a matter of, and it's not expensive at all.
So if the assessment came, now I have this question now. So the assessment came while the new owner was the owner. So assuming they did have that loss assessment coverage, shouldn't their insurance then cover it? It should cover it.
Correct.
Okay, well then that's good information because they're hearing from the neighbor. Of course, you know how everybody is.
Everybody knows everything.
Everybody knows everything, and they're talking to everybody but the person they should be talking to. And they're saying, no, our insurance company said we had to go back to the previous owner. And it's like, I don't think that sounded right. So then just...
No, because the insurance company existing on the unit's not covering the loss for the hail. They're just covering the overage for the deductible, right?
Right. So then I am thinking, well, maybe the gap coverage on the title insurance would cover it. Because... that's a lien on the become a lien on the property once that assessment is made. It's a lien.
And part of the title process is to reach out to the title or to the association to get a dues current letter
and find out if there are any pending or litigation, all that stuff, and they clearly wasn't. So isn't that what the insurance company? That's what the insurance is for.
And pending or levied assessments, because those would be assessments.
Correct. Yeah. So we reached out with Global, and they're checking with their underwriters to see if that would be a covered item. Or
I think their existing insurance company, though, probably should step up and pay the
I do
loss
too.
if that's the case.
Yeah. What do you got news? What's good with you? What's coming up, or what are you working on?
What's coming up? Well, we get monthly newsletters about captive companies having rate increases, and that's always positive to us because of our market. So we've got some of those in the pipeline. So hopefully there'll be opportunities for some of those carriers. Nothing else really new.
When you have a captive company like Allstate, for example, is an example, do some of those companies have both? I mean, they've got captive agents plus they're open to you on the independent side?
Not typically. They will have brokerage services, so a lot of times a captive agent, whether Allstate Farmers, they'll have access to some of the companies we have for risks that they're unwilling to write.
Something's a little off color, then they can take it over there.
Sometimes it's a subprime risk. Sometimes it's just a risk that's outside their appetite. So for commercial, oftentimes that is. Or if they have a driver with a record that's not very favorable, they'll have access to some of this stuff, but not all of what we have access to. But good question.
So if you've got an insured that you're looking at that is just off the rails, let's just say, I mean, they've got DWIs, they've got all the bad stuff, anything bad that you can think of, horrible credit and all that stuff, can they still get insurance?
They can. They're going to pay for it. A lot.
As you would expect.
Yes. Yep.
But it's not a situation where they just, I'm sorry, buddy, you got to be self-insured because you can't get insurance.
Yeah, I haven't seen that situation, but I have seen where somebody has they have a past due payment that they haven't paid with a carrier, and that carrier provides the best premium. They can't they won't offer the new policy until they pay that past judgment. That's the closest I've had to, you can't get coverage.
Okay.
You got to pay
So at the Preserve Group, give us your website.
It's www.mypreservegroup.com.
Talking insurance today. So, do you guys actively look to add additional carriers to seek out, or are you comfortable with the ones you have, or how does that work? You got about 30 seconds.
We do. We actually don't have a ton of control over that. We're given those based on our master general agent. As we progress and build our book of business, they give us more access to more carriers.
Yeah.
And so that's what's happened in our first 6 months that we've been there. We've been getting access to more and more carriers.
Yeah,
but we always want more.
This is new for you, right? To be independent side and.
Yep, absolutely. It's new and it's exciting and it's fun to learn new companies, new products, and make ourselves more competitive.
That's cool.
That's great.
All right. More with James when we return. He's going to hang out, right? You're going to hang out?
Absolutely.
James will hang out from the Preserve Group, mypreservegroup.com. We'll be right back. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Log on to our website, hittnergroup.com, HITTNER Group. Or give us a call on the phone.
Why not?
Yeah.
Ring-a-ling-a-ling.
612-627-8000. That number again is 612-627-8000. And we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, brought to you by the Hittner Group at Coldwell Banker Realty. HittnerGroup.com, HITTNER Group, all one word. HittnerGroup.com, 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Thanks for staying with us. And we're talking real estate here this morning. Got some numbers. You know how I like my numbers. So I got the numbers here of this week. Our inventory for this week, 7-county metropolitan area, 4,063 homes on the market, up just slightly from last week. It was 3,900, just up about 100 units. So that's good news. And down about 10% from the first week of the year. So we're seeing evidence of some activity there, which is good. Average days on the market for new pending listings, 32 days. Average from on the market till acceptable offer, and that's I'm kind of seeing that same thing. With
that first stat you said, you're saying that there's less new listings coming on the market, 10% down. What's
10%? No, homes on the market today.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are 10% fewer homes on the market today than there were January 1st.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What about year over year?
Year over year, we've got so far total listings this year, new coming on, 5,074 listings on the market. That came new on the market since January 1. Last year at this same time, it was 6,796.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have less inventory
So-
now than we did a year ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would
Because
have.
people don't want to move and pay 7.5% for an interest rate. Nice
Yeah, there's
going.
about 5. I'm looking at January of a year ago.
That would be 2022.
It'd be 2022. In January, actually we have more. In January of 2022, 3,000 homes on the market. Right now we have 4,000. We have about 1,000 more properties on the market today than we did last year at this time.
Doesn't that conflict with what you just said?
No.
No.
No, the market slowed. I mean, we have activity coming through. I mean, we're seeing activity coming through for this year, but it's not the pace it was last year, Calvin.
God.
Right.
Yeah.
What are mortgage applications down? Like 70% or something.
Yeah. And
So I mean, it stands to reason the sales would reflect that.
But, Loan Depot reported, I was reading articles about Loan Depot this year because they lost so much money so far this year. And so I was reading some articles about hoping that Kelvin's still going to be in business. And they were talking about the company and how it's got solid reserves and they're doing, but their purchase business was actually up 18%.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're doing a great job on the purchase business. And
Well, of course, the shiny object of the refinance is gone.
is gone. So, but my point is that you said how much are mortgage apps down, 70-some%. It's refi.
Right.
Yeah, refis have literally gone away, and
Yeah.
the purchase business has increased, and we're going to go pursue that market. And
Yeah.
we're taking out, we're doing things that other companies just aren't doing right now in terms of taking out loan level price adjustments, which no one cares about, but just allows us to have a little bit better rates than our competitors. I was even comparing against brokers because brokers sometimes like, oh, you get beat by the broker.
Yeah.
Now we're right there. So it's pretty. We're in a
Because
really
they'll want to crank out more deals and just be thinner on what they're making.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing as well. I mean, everybody's just trimmed their margins way back. We just got to win deals. Like, you can't let a deal touch your desk and not get it. I mean, that's at the end of the day right now.
And they were talking about your position the article was talking about your position in the new construction area, where you have joint ventures and partnerships with builders across some national builders, and over 30% of the purchase business is new construction. So you have a very strong presence in that market, which always plays out into the rest of the market. It seems like once you get your toehold into a few new construction developments, and then it just kind of snowballs into other things. So 783 is the number. That is the number of what am I looking at here? This week, the number of new solds this week, 783. And that is down. The high point of last year was 1,500. So it's about half of what it was last year.
Why? And do you think that's why we're seeing multiple offers and stuff coming in on properties? Because it's crazy, right? Rates are up, and there's not enough and all this and all. But yet, on every property, it seems like we run into multiple offers.
You know, it's curious. That is a very curious thing. And even on this property that we just sold this week in Bloomington, we had 4 or 5 offers on the property.
Right.
But they didn't come at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They just kind of dibbled in over the course of about 10 days. Was one come in, we'd address it, and then the other one come in and we'd address it. So we didn't able to get that, but on I'm going out this afternoon, as a matter of fact, showing houses, and we lost out on a multiple offer situation with them a couple weeks ago, where we bid on the property, and it was that sweet spot, 400,000 kind of a house, a split entry, 4 bedrooms, perfect condition. That house is going to get multiple offers. Anytime you have a house, I think, in that 350 to 450 range, that is very well prepared, little updates, all that stuff. They're just, because of the nature of the buyer today, they know that they're spending more money for the same thing because of higher interest rates. So they're being a little more particular and a little more discerning, I think, than they maybe would have been 2 years ago.
Okay.
So with that, now you've got your pool of houses. Just think about it. So say pick a number on my hat. You got 10 houses for sale that meets this buyer's criteria. 5 of them are not well prepared. They got old appliances. They got old, carpet with someone else's toenails in it. They got all that stuff going on. The next 5 houses, you've got 3 of them. They did some painting. They put new carpet in. And they kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and that's okay. Then you've got a couple of those houses that have all new appliances. They changed out the light fixtures. They got new faucets and and plumbing in them, new carpet, all that stuff. They've really dolled it up, staged it. They're all set to go. Those 2 houses are going to get multiple offers.
And do you think when you're getting multiple offers, are you going over sales price, or are you going to sales price? Because we've had some where they had multiple offers, but nobody even offered full price, which, like, you would have won with full price. Right. Is that because remember last year it was everybody's bidding over significantly?
Yeah, case by case in that scenario. But
same thing. Yeah, same thing. The homes that are beautifully prepared, the 5 that we referred to, 3 of those might get multiple offers.
Okay.
And they're going to get the lucky to get back to the asking price, or maybe a skosh or something. The 2
that are paying closing costs.
Or not paying closing costs. The 2 that are perfect and all that, they're going to get above the asking price, no closing costs, maybe waive the inspection. That stuff is still going on out in the marketplace. It's property specific and location specific too. You've still have some neighborhoods that are just doggone high demand neighborhoods.
Yeah, and if you're in a position as a buyer, you have dual incomes in your household, you got steady jobs, your economic position, your own financial house is well in order, and you go to buy a house at 7.5% right now currently, which was maybe 6.875 a month ago, it's going to be a temporary situation for you. So you look at the budget and plan for that over the next couple of years, and if you got a refi opportunity in a year, or some people say even less, then you take advantage of that when you can, and you get a pay raise then on your mortgage reduction.
Yeah, I think it is a a house-by-house situation. It is a wonderful opportunity for those who are in that financial position that you just described to be able to really go out in the marketplace and find, because there is inventory out there. There's a lot to look at. There really is, compared to previous years. There just is more homes, and you can be more discerning because you've got the financial wherewithal to do it, and you can be patient. You look, and there's some good deals. And if you're willing to buy something with a little hair on it, you can get a very good deal. And maybe get a rehab loan, out of the deal. And so you can have all those new appliances. You can have the new countertops. You can have the new paint and carpet and all of that kind of stuff. You can have all that. You just get a rehab loan, and you're going to wind up paying what you would have paid if the house was all dolled up anyhow.
Right. So like your $700,000 property in Inver Grove Heights that we talked about in the first segment, what is that? 4 beds, 3 baths with an unfinished basement, walkout, beautiful home. Calvin, can we buy that house at $700,000 and get a little money to finish that basement, or how does that work? Because a lot of people are like, putting 20% down, I don't have the cash, but I'd love a finished basement.
Right. Yeah, you just do a rehab loan and grab $20,000-$30,000. You just have to have one contractor's bid or work with Lowe's, which is our national partner.
$20,000-$30,000 what? Dollars?
Yep.
That might get the permits out of the way.
Yeah, or whatever you need.
It
just
might
has
need
to
about
appraise.
75, 80.
Yeah, for your
That'd
style.
be okay?
Yeah, for your style bar. I mean, for me, I just need walls up and privacy.
Yeah, maybe some electricity.
Yeah,
just
one.
You can run the extension cord over
How
from
much
the panel.
did your gym edition cost?
I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
construction costs are up a little bit.
Construction costs are up a little bit. A lot of remodeling going on now. It seems like every time you got this spike in costs,
everybody stays put. And
a lot of people stay put,
theirs.
or a lot of people choose to remodel, or they.
It's been really hard for me, just to be honest. It's hard for me to give people estimates. I used to be super good at it, and they'd say, "Oh, what is a count? Sure, where's the countertops here? Yeah, what's that going to run?" Now. We've had 5 years of just this boom in overall costs to do things. Change a door, put a new garage door on, do all the carpet. And I'm like, that's $5,000, and it comes in at 11.
I know.
It's like, I'm not even going to quote you anymore.
I know.
I'm not a contractor.
I sold new construction
I sell
for
real
so
estate,
many years.
and if you need to buy or sell real estate, give us a call, 612-627-8000, 612-627-8000. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Log on to hittnergroup.com, and we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for staying with us. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk, coming to you from the Hittner Group at Coldwell Banker Realty. 612-627-8000 is the real estate information hotline. 612-627-8000, or go to hittnergroup.com, Hittner Group, all one word, hittnergroup.com, the greatest real estate website in the continental United States. Calvin,
how are you?
What's going on in your money market?
A lot of things going on this morning. The jobs numbers came out, blew out expectations again.
Well, up or down, or
up,
good or bad?
Up, good. Well, good. If depending on
who you're
depending on what you want to see happen, right? So, the Federal Reserve wants to see the economy
job market contract
and go away and get rid of this inflation. Instead, the estimate was like around 240, and it came in at 311,000 new jobs.
So the economy is doing well, and the Federal Reserve is disappointed.
Correct. Yep.
Perfect. That's the government we want.
Yep. Well, that's what they're trying. They're trying to slow that down. So now, the articles this morning said the Fed's going to accelerate their rate hikes. So we were thinking we'd have one more rate hike of about a quarter. Now they're saying they're going to come back next session, do another 50 basis points to try to slow down inflation,
and then more in the summer.
Potentially, depending on how it affects.
More in the summer.
Like, and these companies aren't just going to surrender and go, well, okay, we give. Everybody's trying to make, just like us. Everybody in this
trying
room,
to grow their business. Yep.
We're all guys trying to make a living, building our own businesses, right? You got insurance, real estate, mortgage. We're all trying to grow our businesses, and we're not going to slow down just because the Federal Reserve hopes that everybody crashes for a little bit.
Right.
So it's a little unsettling, but that is what's happening. Now, we anticipate that once the Fed puts that extra 50 bips on, long-term rates are going to start to come down actually pretty dramatically, because rates have, they've crept up with this stuff, and now we're in a good spot. We're like mid sixes, low sixes. We'd get 5.99 with some money. It's like, okay, we're okay. This is an okay spot, not great, but okay. But hold on, but now But now we're at 7. National average is 7% on rates right now.
Mm-hmm.
So can we get to 6.99, 6.5? I was showing you at coffee this morning. 6.5 costs like 2 points.
Right.
to get down to 6.5%. So now you're talking, if I'm buying your place, I'm going to say, hey, will you help? Will you give me some closing costs so I can use some of that money to lower my rates, or at least do a temporary buy down?
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a buy down literally on probably 80% of our files, which means you either do a 1-0 buy down, so the first year we start a point under, or we do a 2-1 buy down where we go 2% under. We have a 3-1 buy down, start 3% under, but the cost then gets pretty.
Yeah. Question for you on the buy downs real quick to throw you off.
Mm-hmm.
Can you refinance that at any time then? It doesn't matter.
Yep. Yeah,
you don't
and you
have
get
to,
a credit
lock
for
in for a period of time on the buy down scenario.
No,
Okay.
the minute rates get back, now they're saying, remember we're saying, hey, rates are going to get into high 4s, low 5s. Now they're saying, well, we're going to get rates down hopefully in the high 5s, mid 5s. Like, come on, you guys keep inching this thing up to kind of say, hey, you guys have to start to get comfortable at this level. And quite honestly, if we could be, I would love anything from 4.5 to 5.5. If you've given me 100-point window, that's where I would love to live, because then there's a lot you can do, right? And then if you were to refinance because rates came down, any of those dollars that were spent to get that buy down, that's just a principal reduction on your new loan. So it's actually okay to do, but we just have to have the money, right? And not everybody has those additional funds to fund that buy down. So then we're going to the, that's when we're getting into this whole conversation.
Let me ask you this question. So is there a maximum number of points that you can apply towards buying the rate down?
Yeah, you can only, but you're not going to hit it.
Okay, I mean, because years ago, I'm when rates were at 18%, 17%, we were coming in with 5, 6, and 7 points, trying to buy the rate down. So it just wouldn't make any economical sense now, because I was looking this morning. I'll just pull it up here. The median home price in Dakota County is $463,000. So now you take 5 points on that. You're just not going to do that, and you don't need to. We're really confident rates are going to get back in that 5, high 5s, mid 5s area here. So we'll be okay.
When?
We think April 10th is actually when the next Fed meeting is, and we'll start to trend after that. That's what we're told.
All the way down to 1.5 or 2 points low?
No, maybe if we go from 7 down to about high 5s, mid 5. If we could be
99999.
Yeah, I mean that's, for some reason 5.99 is a lot better rate than 6.
It's also better than 7.25.
7.25, right? Or so the market's challenging, but yet here's the interesting thing: if you're doing a good job as a loan officer, and we do a family cash flow analysis, and when you look at the overall, at what are we going to do with the money that we're getting from the sale of this home, and now we look at all their debt and we say, hey, let's get rid of this debt that's running you 18, because remember, credit cards are going up too, car loans are going up too. So if we can take some of those proceeds from the sale of that home, and now we're paying off some of this debt, and now we're maybe getting 6.5% money,
right?
And that's deductible interest. Right. We're money ahead
all
day.
19%.
Right. But it's
consumer debt.
But it's not back, a couple years ago, it's just like, what's your rate? 2.99. Great. Boom. Done. You don't have more conversation. Now, if you're a good loan officer, you're having those good conversations that quite honestly are fun, because you can position a family really, really well, but you have to have some knowledge and not just be a rate jockey in this.
And so the way that you approach it is you take the family, as I'm understanding it, and they could actually buy a larger home at a higher rate and restructure some of their existing debt.
Absolutely.
And come out to be a little more or the same as they were before going in, only they've got so much more going for them.
Right. Yep, that's exactly what we do. And that's the fun part, right? When you can say, hey, do you see how this makes sense? But then here's the things we're going to do. It's really fun. That's rewarding. And quite honestly, it's a lot more rewarding to do that than just say, hey, it's 2.99.
Right.
Right? Because now we actually have to think. We have to design. You guys know I'm a nerd on Excel, so I've got the funnest sheets ever. But when the rates are 2.99, no one cares about my Excel worksheet. Yeah. Now they love me. Now they like that stuff. So that's been good. What else is going on? Let me just grab some stuff. Job claims actually went up, so unemployment actually went up a little bit too, because people stopped looking for jobs and all of that. So that's interesting. And we kind of see that, that we're just going to be in this weird space for a little bit. But I think we see activity increasing. Like in our branch, we're still going to close between 40 and 50 loans this month, just in our Eagan branch, not just our whole region, but just in our branch. So business is getting done, right? So even the rates are a little higher, business is getting done. We're running into these stupid multiple offers all the time. And, we publish this segment all the time. So I just want you to touch on that again. And I'd like to ask, how do you guys in your world, every time, when I'm looking at your listing and I'm excited about it and I'm going to say, hey, we're going to make an offer, how is it that suddenly so does everyone else?
Well, good is good,
right?
When you've got a luscious apple that's ready to eat, I think there's more than one person that wants to eat that apple.
I don't know.
Yes.
I think you reach out to everybody that looked at the apple.
Of course we do. I mean, that's
then
the thing.
You say, hey, come have dinner.
For example, the property we looked
Right.
at recently, that property was clearly priced to get multiple offers.
Mm-hmm.
When we walked in there, I said, there is no way that this house is going to sell for this asking price. This
Okay.
is priced to get multiple offers.
Price to get, meaning it's priced low,
It's
and
priced,
we're going to...
It's priced
Okay.
low. Right.
Interesting.
Because they didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, they don't know what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
They just know that it's somewhere in this range, and they want to get the upper end of the range, and they'll let the market determine what that landing
and it's not
point
just
is.
to your point where you say, you call everybody else. Certainly, as a listing agent, you want to reach out to everybody that's looked at the property.
Yep.
But buyers will sit on the fence in a market like this,
Yep.
and they'll wait. And then you have the takeaway where it's like, somebody else made an offer. We're going to look at that tomorrow at noon.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, you 4 people over here said you liked the house. You gave us good feedback. Do your folks actually want to pursue anything? And half of those people will say, all right, yes, we do. And then the other fence sitters will move on and go somewhere else. So
Yep.
it's a little bit of human nature in there where, I did want that. Now I'm going to have to pursue it under competitive circumstances,
Right.
as opposed to just going after it to begin with.
Yeah.
And so I encourage my buyers, if you do like a property and it just came on the market yesterday and we walked through it, last night, and you think that you can see yourself living there, let's make an offer.
Sure.
If you're in a position to do so
Yeah.
mentally, let's make
Right.
the offer.
Right.
Because there's no sense in waiting around.
You got nothing to lose.
And in this market, too, you're not getting all of that multiple offer situation right away. And so you could get ahead of, the other folks that are twiddling their thumbs or, making more discerning
Right.
decisions, which is great,
So once the property's on market, the faster we can get an offer, it's the less likely that you have other people always
Correct.
looking.
Well, it's just a timing thing,
Yep.
too. Think of a seller now. He got an offer on the table. How long are you going to wait?
Carry that, right?
And carry
Yep.
that and then worry about losing that offer, waiting, hoping for another one that may or may not come.
Yeah, and there's been enough in the news right now to tell folks that market times are taking a little bit longer. Prices tend to be a little bit softer. Sellers are conceding on some things like concessions for closing costs, and people are having inspections again. And so things have balanced out over the last 12 months. So here we are.
Yeah.
We're going to head out. That's it for this week. Call Calvin 651-231-2500 for any mortgage information, and call us 612-627-8000. See you next week.